Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining the Wellbeing Week webinars presented by Affinity Federal Credit Union. Today's topic is Debt Management Basics with Navicore Solutions. My name is Nicholas Battagliano, and I'm the Wellbeing Communications Specialist here at Affinity. Today's presenter is Joe Augustus from Navicore Solutions. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and the link to watch the presentation, again, will all be shared with you in a follow-up email that we sent out soon. Also, if you have any questions you would like to ask during the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A option on your panel, and we'll be more than happy to address them at the end of the webinar. Thank you. Take it away, Joe.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Nicholas. Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Augustus, and I work for an organization called Navicore Solutions, and I am the counseling training manager for Navicore. I've been with the organization since September of 2000, so this year has been my 24th year with the company, and I actually started off as a credit counselor, and over the years have become a coach, a supervisor, and now I do the majority of the training classes here at Navicore, and I also manage two teams as well. So what I'm going to be doing today is going over with you a little bit about our company and also our services that we offer, and in particular, try to give you some information on some of the different things that we do here at Navicore and a little bit about our company. So if you can bear with me, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to be going through a PowerPoint presentation together that we'll go through with you. So bear with me one moment. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so this is an overview of our company, Navicore Solutions, and hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a little bit more insight as to what we actually do and also what our company is all about. So Navicore Solutions here at our company, we're a nonprofit financial counseling organization. We've been in business since 1991, so we've been around for quite a long time, and we're also considered to be one of the best agencies in the industry regarding credit counseling and also housing counseling as well. We are licensed in all 50 states throughout the country. So no matter where somebody is reaching out to us for help in the United States, we are licensed to counsel them in all 50 states. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So if somebody was to contact the Better Business Bureau to find out a little bit more about us through there, they would see that we're a member with the BBB, and we also have an excellent rating with them. We're also a member of the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, otherwise known as the NFCC. We're a HUD-approved agency because we work in tandem with HUD. And our website, for any of you who are interested in taking a look at our organization online, is navicoresolutions.org. So you're more than welcome to take a look at our website to see a little bit more about the services that we offer. Okay, so as a nonprofit counseling organization, we have a mission statement, and our mission statement is that we strengthen the well-being of individuals and families through education, guidance, advocacy, and support. So what this really means is that anybody who's going through any kind of a situation where they need some kind of guidance with their finances, they're more than welcome to contact us, and we will do everything that we can to try to provide them with the information that they need and also with the support that they need as well. And if it's something that they're looking for that goes beyond what we can offer as a nonprofit counseling agency, we do make referrals to other organizations and other agencies. So we are able to help clients with any kind of issues that go a little bit outside of the parameters of counseling as well that we do. So we have many different office locations throughout the country. As I mentioned, we're licensed in all 50 states in the US, but we have brick and mortar offices in several states around the country. Those office locations that we have are the following. Our headquarters office is in Manalapan, New Jersey. We also have an office in South Jersey, in Hamilton, New Jersey, which is not too far from Atlantic City. We have an office in San Diego, California, Stamford, Connecticut. Raleigh, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Roseville, Minnesota, Henderson, Nevada, Peoria, Illinois, Bensalem, PA, St. George, Utah, and Mansfield, Massachusetts. Okay, so what our agency really is all about is financial education. It's essentially the core of our entire organization. Everything that we do in terms of counseling has to do with providing financial education to the public. We do that with counseling sessions over the phone based on what type of counseling somebody needs for their finances. But in addition to that, we actually have a whole department called our education department that offers free seminars and workshops on a myriad of different topics, such as budgeting, debt management, credit score improvement, and also dealing with financial hardships. So what we do is we actually go out into the community and we provide workshops to the public that are free, and people who are interested in learning about any of these topics can come and meet with a facilitator, and they can work with them and also with a group of people to find out more about how they can try to improve their finances. And these workshops are done not only in person, but also we do them virtually as well, all around the country for anybody who is interested in attending them. All right. So as far as our services that we offer, most people contact us usually for credit and debt counseling. We actually have referral partnerships with many of the larger banking institutions out there, such as Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, Capital One. A lot of those banks refer their customers over to us. And usually they send them over to us when they're looking for some type of help with their finances, in particular with their credit cards. So in the credit counseling department, we can help them with credit counseling and also debt counseling. We have something in particular, which we'll talk about in a little while in more detail, called the debt management plan. And the debt management plan is something specifically that can help people who are really struggling to pay their credit cards, or if they're in a situation maybe where they just have so much debt and they're not making any headway with getting the debt paid down and getting those interest rates lowered. The debt management plan can actually be something that can really be a lifesaver to a lot of people who are really struggling with credit card debt. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We also provide housing counseling for people who are looking for assistance with a housing related topic. We provide bankruptcy counseling and education for those people who are actually in the process of filing for bankruptcy. We provide student loan counseling for those who are struggling with repayment of student loans. And we also provide small business counseling as well for people who have a small business, but maybe they're experiencing some kind of a setback or some kind of a hardship with either getting that business off the ground or maintaining it in times of a crisis. So we'll talk about each of these different services that we offer in a little more detail so that you'll have some more information about how we can help with any of these different types of services that we offer. Okay, so we'll start off with our credit counseling that we offer. So our credit counselors all have to go through a certification process with the NFCC and also with HUD. Anybody that comes on board to be a credit counselor here at Navicore Solutions, they have to take and pass an exam that's administered by the NFCC to become a certified credit counselor. And they also have to take an exam through HUD to become a certified HUD counselor. So those requirements ensure that the counselors who our clients are talking with, they have those certifications which actually enhance their expertise, and it fulfills the requirements of both the NFCC and HUD. So what our credit counselors do when they speak to somebody who is calling in for help with credit card debt, they take an in-depth look at the client's financial situation to see where the client is at with what they're going through. So they try to ask them questions about, what have you been experiencing? What led you to contact us? And, what areas do you feel that you need some assistance in. The counselor would address any financial concerns that the client has. So anything that the client mentions that they need help with, we pinpoint and target those areas so that we can provide them the assistance that they need. The counselor also would determine what solution is appropriate for the client based on their situation. So they look at what's going to benefit the client the best and also what's going to be suitable for their needs. And the counselor also would help the client create a personalized spending plan. Personalized spending plan is another way of saying a budget, essentially. So what they do is they actually will talk to them about what their household situation looks like before adding in any of the credit card debt. So that way, the client can talk about what their monthly expenses are, what their monthly income is. And if the counselor is able to get an idea of where the client is at with those expenses and income, that can help the counselor create a personalized spending plan for them that they can use in the future to make sure that they know where their money is going every single month. Because a lot of clients who contact us for help with credit card debt, sometimes one of the issues that they could be experiencing is that they're not really sure where all their money is going. The credit counselor also places a very strong emphasis on housing stability. So what that means is that even though the client might be calling in for help with their credit cards, while they can address that with them, they take a very strong approach in terms of emphasizing that the home comes first. In other words, their mortgage payment or their rent payments come first, and that's the top priority. Because if they don't have enough money to pay their rent or their mortgage, that's going to affect everything else that they have to pay. So we always put a great deal of focus on housing stability, making sure that the client always prioritizes either their rent or their mortgage that they have to make every month to continue having the shelter where they need to live. And then also we have our debt management plan that can be offered to clients as well if they need help with their credit cards in particular. So the debt management plan is an in-house program that we have here at Navicore Solutions. This program has been around since the company first opened its doors back in 1991. And one of the great things about the debt management plan is that unlike some other companies, such as settlement companies or companies that say they could try to negotiate with credit card companies on somebody's behalf, with the debt management plan, we have partnerships and relationships with the banks, and they will offer different concessions or benefits to people who decide to enroll in our debt management plan because they know that the person is really seriously committed to paying their debt back through the program that we have. So the debt management plan is also known as the DMP. And what it is a consolidation of any credit cards or any kind of unsecured debt that the client might be struggling with. It puts it into one monthly payment. So the way it works is that the client, instead of having to pay all of these different credit cards that they're struggling with, or all of these different unsecured debts that they have every month, they can consolidate them into one payment on the DMP. And what they would do is they would make one payment to Navicore every month, and then we take that and we distribute that out to all of the different creditors that the client owes money to. So what this does is it takes away from the client having to deal with the creditors directly every single month. And instead, they just make one monthly payment to Navicore for all the different accounts they want to put on the plan. We take care of the rest by dispersing it out to the creditors every month on a due date that the client chooses. So one of the really nice things about the debt management plan, besides the consolidation and simplification factor of having it all put into one payment, is that the credit card companies will offer concessions or benefits to the client. So the client can put credit cards on the DMP. They can put any accounts that have been in collections on the DMP. We can try to work with those as well. If they have personal loans that are unsecured, and by unsecured, we mean debts that don't have any kind of collateral or anything like that. So these are things that are not like car payments or mortgage payments. So any personal loans that don't have any collateral that are unsecured can be put on a debt management plan as well. And also, if they have any old debts, like old medical bills or old utility bills, anything of that nature, they can put on the debt management plan as well if they feel that they need help with that. So the concessions that are offered by the credit card companies and by the creditors would be lowering their interest rates. They will also stop any late or over the limit fees that the client might have, because a lot of clients who contact us, they're behind on their payments and they're also over their limit, meaning they've maxed out their credit cards. So a lot of the creditors will actually stop those fees so that the client won't have to worry about being penalized every single month moving forward. They will lower the minimum monthly payment for the client on the account, and they'll also bring the accounts current. If the client is past due on an account, that creditor will typically bring that account completely current and bring it up to date, which means that they will no longer be in a delinquent status every month when they get settled into the debt management plan. So the creditors try to make it beneficial for the client to enroll on the debt management plan by offering these concessions or benefits. And when someone goes on the debt management plan, they're paying all of the debt back. They're not paying a portion of it back or just like a certain percentage of it. They're paying all of the debt that they owe, but the interest rates and the payments are going to be lowered so that it's going to take them a lot less time to pay it off through the debt management plan than if they were going to do it on their own. The other thing besides saving time is they'll save a lot of money in interest too, because a lot of the creditors will lower their interest rates. Sometimes clients contact us with interest rates of 24% or so. Typically, the creditors will lower those interest rates down to much lower percentages, which will save the client a ton of money and a ton of interest and time by going through the plan. So here's some other benefits of going on the debt management plan with Navicore Solutions. So the program itself is a month-to-month service. It's a voluntary program. So a client can start it and leave it at any time that they need to, um, based on whatever their situation is. So if a client goes on the debt management plan and then they decide, you know what, I'm just going to pay this off on my own, there's no contract that they're signing where it says you have to remain locked into this program and you can't leave it. It's nothing like that. So if they want to leave the program for any reason at any time, they can do that, and there is no penalty from Navicore Solutions if they decide to leave the program. So it's a month-to-month voluntary program that's there for clients who need it. As we spoke about before, it'll take them a lot less time to pay off the debt that they have by going on the debt management plan. They'll save a lot of time and also interest. If their credit score is not in the greatest shape when they're calling us, if they enroll in the debt management plan and they make their payments on time every single month, there's a very good chance that their credit score is going to improve. And by the time that they're finished with the debt management plan, which typically is about usually 4 to 5 years, because creditors design the debt management plan so that the debt is paid off within about 4 to 5 years. By the time that they leave it, their credit score generally will be in a lot better place than it was when they started the DMP, as long as they make their payments on time every single month, because the best way to improve your credit score is by making timely, consistent payments. And just enrolling on a debt management plan does not affect the client's FICO credit score. So just because somebody is going to be enrolling on a DMP and they get set up on the plan, the creditors might make a notation on the credit report saying that the person is going through credit counseling or through a debt management plan, but that notation does not affect their FICO score. It doesn't lower it in any way whatsoever because it's considered to be a neutral notation. Unlike a bankruptcy or a settlement, those are notations that can negatively impact somebody's credit score. So the debt management plan, because it's a neutral notation, it doesn't have any bearing on lowering the credit score whatsoever. The only thing that could possibly lower the client's credit score by going on the debt management plan is that if they decide to enroll in the plan, their credit cards that they're putting on the plan are closed out. So because of the fact that the cards are closed out, that could possibly cause their credit score to take a bit of a dip when they first enroll in the plan. But as long as they make their payments on time every month and they are consistent with making the payments, then eventually their credit score will improve. And the other nice part about the debt management plan is that anybody who is enrolled is automatically registered for an online self-study course called Money in Motion. Money in Motion is a course that talks all about how to stay in good shape with your credit when you're on a debt management plan. So this is also, again, it's an educational component of the DMP where while the client is going through the debt management plan, if they decide to take the Money in Motion course, that will help with the financial education component, and it'll give them some good information just about how to stay in good shape with their credit. Okay, so here's some frequently asked questions about our debt management plan. These are questions that come up from clients quite a bit during counseling sessions. So probably the most common question that we get frequently from clients is the debt management plan a loan? And the answer to that is no, it is not a loan. We're not a lending institution. We're a nonprofit counseling organization. So we're not loaning money out to anybody at all. What we are is an organization that has this in-house program called the debt management plan. So we're in a sense like a middleman. The debt management plan is like a middleman type of service between the client and also the credit card companies. We are able to get benefits from the credit card companies and from the banks for somebody who is willing to enroll in the debt management plan. So we don't loan money out at all. It's not as if the client has to pay us money for money that we're loaning to them or anything like that. We're just a middleman in terms of the DMP. So that's very important because sometimes people they have a misconception that the debt management plan is like a consolidation loan, and it is not a loan. So that's very important to be aware of. Common question also that comes up is, can I pay more than the monthly payment on the DMP? And the answer to that is yes. If the client has a good month, maybe they got a bonus at work, or if they came into a little bit of a windfall or something like that, they can always pay more than the monthly payment. The good thing about the DMP is that there's never any prepayment penalties because it's not a loan. So if the client wants to do more than the monthly payment, they can absolutely do that. And by doing that, that also will cut down on their time that it takes to pay down the debt management plan or to pay off the debt management plan. What happens if I miss a payment on the DMP? Well, normally what happens is that when someone is enrolled on the debt management plan, the first time they miss a payment, our customer service department would give them a call and just say, hey, we noticed that you missed a payment this month. If you're experiencing any kind of a hardship, please give us a call and we'll try to help you as best as we can. Normally, when the person misses a payment, because that payment is not available to disperse to the creditors could wind up giving them late fees. If they miss two payments in a row, meaning they miss 2 months on the debt management plan, then typically customer service will call them again and they'll say, just want to make sure that everything is okay. We noticed you missed two payments. Please give us a call. Let us know if we can try to help you. And then if they miss three payments in a row, then typically they're dropped from the DMP. If they get dropped from the DMP, There's no penalty with Navicore, but what would happen with the credit card companies is that the payments and the interest rates would revert back to what they were before they started the debt management plan. So they'd be working with the creditors on their own once again. If a client gets dropped from the DMP for whatever reason and they want to come back on again, they can do that. They can just give the counselor a call that they spoke to before, or they can call our counseling department. We'll do an updated counseling session with them and we can send them new enrollment paperwork back. So they can actually go back on it if they've been dropped from the plan for whatever reason. So it is available in case they do need it again. Also, another question that we get is, if I go on the debt management plan, how is this going to affect me if I need to go and apply for a mortgage, a car loan, or a student loan? And this is a very good question. Something to keep in mind that we always tell clients about is that if you are trying to get a mortgage or a car loan or a student loan when you're on the debt management plan, our customer service department can write a letter of good standing or a letter of recommendation as long as you've made your payments on time on the DMP for a period of 6 months. So they can help you with that. As far as whether it's going to affect the person or not, the answer to that really would be it depends. Some lenders see credit counseling as something that is very risky to somebody that they are considering loaning money to. So they might decide that because the person went the route of a debt management plan and credit counseling, that they're too much of a risk and they might decline to work with them. However, there's also a lot of lenders out there who view credit counseling and debt management as a very positive thing. And what they think is that when they see the person's credit report and they see that notation that they went through a debt management plan, they can say something to the effect of, you know what, this person really made an effort to pay their debt back and to go above and beyond to try to pay back all of their creditors rather than going the route of a bankruptcy. That's the kind of person that we want to try to work with. So it depends on the lender. Some lenders see credit counseling and DMPs as negative, others see it as a positive. So it completely depends upon what lender they're going to if they are in a DMP and they're trying to get some kind of a secured loan or a student loan. Another question, can I still use my credit cards while I'm on the plan? The answer to that would be because the credit cards are closed out when someone goes on the plan, they would not be able to use their credit cards anymore. Part of the whole rationale or the goal of the debt management plan is to recover from the debt. It's like a recovery program. So that's one of the main reasons that the credit cards are closed out so that the client doesn't have to worry about having the temptation to use them anymore. So while someone's on the DMP, they can decide to leave a card off for emergencies if they need to, or if they have a 0% interest rate, maybe they're on a promotional plan or something of that nature, they can leave a card off. But any cards that go on the debt management plan that Navicore attempts to work with, they would be closed. So they cannot use those cards when they're on the plan because it defeats the whole purpose of going on the plan if they're still going to be using them. And lastly, another question that comes up is, do the creditors go back and remove all the old late fees and the over the limit fees retroactively? And the answer to that question is no, they don't. They might stop them from incurring in the future once the person goes on the debt management plan, but they don't go back and remove all the old late and over the limit fees. That also is a misconception that sometimes people think that the creditors are going to go back and take an eraser and wipe them all out. They don't do that, unfortunately. But they will bring the account current, which stops the late fees, and they will also stop the over the limit fees as well in the future so that the client doesn't get any further when they're on the debt management plan. All right. Okay. So moving on just to talk about some of the other departments that we have here besides the credit counseling department, because we do offer a number of different services here. We also have a housing counseling department. And because we're a HUD approved agency, we have the ability to provide many different types of housing counseling here at Navicore Solutions. So our housing counselors have to be HUD certified, just as the credit counselors have to as well. Different types of housing counseling that we provide pretty much run the gamut. And these are just a couple of the major types that we provide to clients. So we offer default or foreclosure prevention housing counseling. So if somebody is falling behind on their mortgage or they're in danger of foreclosure, they can actually speak with a housing counselor to do a foreclosure prevention counseling session. That can actually be very helpful to clients because it could actually save their home from being foreclosed on. So we offer that. The Housing Counseling Department also offers HECM, or reverse mortgage counseling, which is for homeowners age 62 or older. The reverse mortgage is a product that is out there that can be very complicated to understand. So for anybody who's interested in obtaining a reverse mortgage, they can go through HECM counseling or reverse mortgage counseling so that they can learn all about how reverse mortgages work and whether it's something that's appropriate for them. We also have pre-purchase counseling for people who are buying their home for the very first time. So if they're a first-time home buyer, they can do a pre-purchase counseling session with a housing counselor who can go over with them everything they need to know about buying a home for the very first time, because it can be an extremely stressful and daunting process to buy your first home. So we're here to help with that. We also offer rental assistance for people who are facing eviction. They can speak with one of our rental housing counselors to try to receive assistance with that. And we also provide disaster recovery assistance for anybody who is a victim of a natural disaster, um, such as Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Sandy, or wildfires, anything of that nature, where there is some kind of a natural disaster. We have disaster recovery counseling that we provide as well. In fact, sometimes when there is a natural disaster, a group of people in our education department will go out into those areas that have been affected, and we will do on demand, on the spot counseling for people who need it, whether it's housing counseling or credit counseling. So that's something that we provide as well. We also have bankruptcy counseling and education services. So for anybody who is in the process of working with an attorney to file for bankruptcy, we're approved by the U.S. Trustee's Office to provide bankruptcy counseling and education. So the way it works is that when someone is filing for bankruptcy, they have to, by law, receive bankruptcy counseling and education services before they file, and then again after they file for bankruptcy. So the pre-filing course that they would take is an online course that one of our bankruptcy counselors would set them up with. It's called Counseling in Motion. They take that before they file bankruptcy. And then after they file bankruptcy, they come back to the bankruptcy department and the counselor gets them set up with the other online course called Money in Motion. Money in Motion is the course that we use in the debt management plan as well. For anybody who's going on the debt management plan, they get Money in Motion as an optional course that they can take. But when you're filing for bankruptcy, Money in Motion is a required course that's taken after they file. So it's called the post-filing debtor education course. And then we also have student loan counseling as well. So we work with the NFCC to provide student loan counseling. So the NFCC, as you might remember, is the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. So we have student loan counselors who can help people who are really struggling with paying back their student loans. So what our student loan sessions provide is comprehensive counseling and education all about student loans. They explore the available options for student loan repayment that are available to the client based on what kind of a loan that they have. And they'll also make recommendations on what's going to work the best for the client's situation. Because again, the recommendations that we provide to the client depends upon what it is that they're going through. So that's one of the reasons why we really take a good look at what's going on for that particular client, because there's no cookie cutter recommendations. All the solutions and recommendations that we provide to the client are completely based on what it is that they're going through. And then lastly, we also have small business counseling as well. So this is also a counseling service that we provide in conjunction with the NFCC. So our small business coaches are NFCC certified. So somebody who is struggling with getting their business off the ground, or if they're struggling with maintaining their business, they can do a small business counseling session. What that entails is 6 one-hour monthly consultations with a small business coach. The coach would do a review of their current circumstances and also the results of what they've done previously to calling. They will give them an introduction to some new tactics that they can use each month, maybe to help try to grow the business or maybe try to change some things with their finances or their different strategies that they've used. The client will also receive information on what can happen if they don't resolve the issues that they have. So what that would actually mean to them in terms of cost. And the small business coach would also review what options are available to them, what solutions are available, and trying to just improve their growth overall with the business that they have. We get a lot of people who contact us who have tried to start their own business because they decide they don't want to work for somebody else anymore. They want to try to follow their bliss and follow their passion, and they create their own company or their own business. But somewhere along the way, something doesn't necessarily go right. Or maybe they use their credit cards to fund the business or to get the business off the ground, but maybe it hasn't taken off the way that they expected it to. And now they have all this credit card debt and they don't know what to do with the business. So that's where our small business coaches at Navicore can try to provide assistance with getting back on track with that. So it's also something else that can be very helpful to people who are experiencing that. And that is it. That pretty much is the grand scheme of everything that we do here at Navicore Solutions. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are interested in finding out more about our organization, you can visit our website, which is navicoresolutions.org. And if you're interested in finding out more about the different types of programs that we offer and the different types of services beyond what we've gone over in this presentation, the website is the perfect place to get that information from. You'll also notice we have a lot of educational material related to financial topics that are free that are on the website. So there's some great information on there, not only about our company, but also about different topics that can come up in a financial education setting. Um, so, um, so thank you very much. And Nicholas, I'll turn it back over to you. I'll turn my screen sharing off.
Perfect. That actually looks like we do have a few questions here, if you don't mind. Uh,
Sure.
First one we have here is, can you explain the benefits and or risks of consolidating debt?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the benefits of consolidating debt, one of the nice things about going on the debt management plan is that it puts everything into one payment. Because a lot of people who contact us, what they're really struggling with is having so many different payment due dates every month and just having to juggle all of these different bills every single month. So probably the number one benefit of the debt management plan when they're consolidating everything is they have one payment due date every month. So it's one payment. They choose when they want that payment to come out of their checking account every month. And then when we take the payment, we disperse it out to all of the creditors. So it's one less headache where you don't have to worry about having all of these, numerous payment due dates and payments that you have to make every single month. Plus, the other benefits would be lower interest rates, lower monthly payments, and if they have late or over the limit fees, the creditors typically will stop those fees moving forward when someone goes on the plan. As far as the risks that are concerned, the main risk that a lot of people experience is that a lot of people who contact us, their credit isn't necessarily in the greatest shape. So they're not so much worried about, you know, trying their credit score going down any further, because a lot of people who contact us, their credit score is pretty low. But sometimes it's important to be aware of what we spoke about before. If you have a good credit score and your credit score is in good shape, by going on the debt management plan, the cards are closed out. So the risk involved with that is the fact that by the cards being closed out, that could cause somebody's credit score to temporarily take a bit of a dip. Because whenever you close out a bunch of cards on your credit report, that can affect the score. So that is one of the risks involved with actually going on the debt management plan. If you're coming into the debt management plan with a pretty good credit score, as opposed to having a poor credit score, you just have to be aware that sometimes your score could go down a little bit at the beginning before it goes up. So that's something we talk to our clients about in detail during the session. So hope that answers your question.
Perfect. Another one here. Are there ways I can plan for savings while managing significant debt, or is that impossible?
No, that's a great question, actually. Yes, we always try to talk to our clients, both in our counseling sessions and also in our workshops that we have, about even if you're in a situation where you're really struggling with a lot of debt, we always try to encourage people to put something away for savings every single paycheck, even if it's just $25 or something like that, because you never want to break the habit of savings, even when you're in a situation where you're really dealing with a lot of debt. And that goes for anything regarding, putting money in a checking account or a savings account, or even if you let's say you're working at a company and you have money going into a 401k or something like that, 1% is better than nothing. So if you can try to really continue to not break that habit of savings, you'll really be doing yourself a favor, because we always try to talk to people about pay yourself first. Even if it's less than what you think you're able to do, pay yourself first. And that's something that will hopefully help in the long run. So that's a great question.
And last one here. I'm overwhelmed with multiple debts. What are the first steps I should be taking to remedy that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the best thing to do first and foremost would be to either go to our website to navicoresolutions.org, or you can call our phone number at Navicore Solutions. We have a toll-free number. It's 800-772-4557. If you call that phone number, you can be directed to our counseling department and you can speak to a counselor and do an on-demand counseling session. The counseling sessions that we do can be done over the phone, or if you prefer to do it online, virtually, you can go to the website and you can do the counseling session right online. So whatever you're more comfortable with, um, whatever your preference is, definitely contacting us would be a very good first step, and you're more than welcome to do that.
Perfect. Well, that is all the questions we have today. Just want to thank everyone for joining today. Thank you, Joe, for sharing all that amazing information. We'll be
Yeah,
sending out a follow-up email with the recording. Please join us the rest of the week as we touch on career and community well-being. Thank you, everyone.
great. Thank you very much. Take care now.